Welcome back to Digi Bros, everybody.
What's up, bitches?
Victor is teasing on the last episode that his life is now Donald Trump.
Yes.
What's up with that?
It's the only thing anyone ever talks about anymore. It's really Facebook. Facebook has become Donald Trump land, and it's fucking just... Like, I can't say it's not fucking entertaining. Like, I love reading about Donald Trump and, like, all of his shenanigans and how fucking stupid he is. But the more and more I am entertained by that, the more afraid I am of the reality of it, which is that he's huge and everyone loves him, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just... It's almost soul-crushing. It's like, holy shit, we've allowed this to happen. And it's just so spiraling out of control into, like, this chaos and violence. It's insane.
It's called staring into the void.
Yeah.
The other day,
It was funny for a while, and now it's become not funny anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's become scary.
It's not
And it just
funny
becomes
anymore,
even
trying
worse
to
and
get
worse
the
and worse,
jokes.
and you just get more and more and more shit.
We came back from Zootopia the other night.
Yes.
A movie about police racism.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want to listen to To Pimp a Butterfly, right? And then I came home, but I had to do this Dark Souls race with my buddies. If you haven't seen the Procrastinators podcast Dark Souls race, check it out. Fucking hilarious. Me and my friends all raced
It was
in
pretty
Dark
good.
Souls.
I shared it with everyone.
I would go so far as to say that we had a race war.
And
And after we were done recording, I came downstairs and looked at the television.
And there was a little
And there was a
race war.
literal race war happening
Fucking
on the
hell,
television.
man.
Specifically,
That was some jarring, scary shit to watch.
yeah, a Trump rally had a big protest, a big peaceful protest.
The whole time I'm watching it, I was just
but
like,
some fights broke out.
I was just like really anxious. I was just like, please let no one get shot. Like, please let no one get shot. I've never had that kind of like actual social conscious anxiety before, where I was like really hoping no one would get shot. And half of it's because a lot of the people that were protesting were holding Bernie Sanders signs.
Right.
And I'm pissed off that, like, why would you do that? Why would you bring him into that? Like, now you're doing it in his name, and everyone gets to say that it's in his name,
Well,
which they have.
I mean, it was
now
a-
Donald Trump is
Are
saying
you
Bernie
saying that the
Sanders
people
is
who
against
broke
him.
out into fights did that?
No,
or?
but the people, a bunch of the
'Cause
protesters.
it was already a protest. Like, it
Yeah.
was just a peaceful protest that
But I'm
turned into
saying,
a violent
when it's a
protest.
violent protest and there's 10,000 people showing up, and then they also have Bernie Sanders signs, now Donald Trump gets to say Bernie Sanders is inciting the shit against him,
Right.
which sucks. It's like, don't make it about a candidate war, you know, it's about not wanting Donald Trump, not about plugging Bernie.
Right. It definitely was a moment that I was like, have I... Like, okay, you know, we're getting older.
Uh-huh.
We notice more things now.
Yeah.
When I was young, I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know what was going on in the world. I
Uh-huh.
didn't know what was happening. You know, I remember Obama's election,
Yes.
and I remember it just being a normal thing. There was people didn't like him because he was black.
Yeah,
and
that's what's
but, like-
insane is how much worse Trump's thing is than Obama's thing. Because
Right.
when Obama was elected, because I was deep into politics when Obama was first getting elected
Right.
in high school,
And I don't
it was
remember-
like everyone thought he was the Antichrist. Everyone was out
Yeah.
to get him, and then I'm watching these videos of Obama responding to the protesters at his rallies,
Right.
which is amazing because Obama just every time he goes, he's like, no, let him stay. Don't escort him out. Let him finish what they're saying. And he's like, all right, now you finish what you had to say. I listened to I heard what you had to say. I can hear you. I'm right here. I heard you say these things. Now you have to listen to what I have to say. And I'm like, that is such a fucking cool, mature way to respond to that, which is always what Obama does.
But I'm just like looking at this, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen this before. I don't think I've seen a guy who's not even yet a main running candidate.
It's insane
for
because it's never
presidency.
happened before. It
And I'm like-
literally has never happened before this way.
And I'm just like, oh, like, is this where we are now? That, like, we've got people trying, popular candidates for presidency,
Yes.
so reviled that fights break out just because they're in town.
It's fucking insane.
Just because he's in town. Now imagine if
but I
he
mean, 'cause-
became president.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Dude, the protests would be
The
insane.
unrest.
And I'd be one of the protesters. It would be insane.
Imagine the unrest. I'm just like, this can't, like, there's half of me that's like, I've grown up in a peaceful America.
Yes.
I don't have the cognitive capacity to, like, comprehend an America that is not peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, one that is at civil war with itself that way. Where, like, we have a lot of problems in our country, but they're all stuff that we are able to sweep under the rug. We shouldn't be, but we're able to as a country, right? There's a lot of stuff we just kind of go, well, that's a problem, but we'll deal with it, and right now we have to worry about ourselves. You know, in other countries, you don't get to do that. You have to be concerned about the state of your country because shit's it's affecting, like, if there's mobs in the fucking streets, it affects your everyday life, you know? And I'm just like, this is at a rally, a Trump rally, to maybe become the Republican candidate for presidency. Imagine if this guy was the fucking president.
It's
like,
it can't happen. Like, it really
But that's
can't.
the thing. You like, logically, as someone who's grown up in a peaceful America,
I'm not saying that it
America's...
can't happen because people won't vote for him. I think it can't happen because, like, in our position with the rest of the world, you can't do that.
But that's the thing. You think that because that's logical.
Yeah.
But Trump's entire power isn't logical already. Like, it already is broken logic that he's so popular, right? That someone who just has no position on anything, is just a TV personality, who's who just fucking spouts nonsense and lies constantly.
There is logic behind it. It's, for one, that people are ignorant, and two, I've listened to a lot of Donald Trump supporters, and I've seen them I've seen them on Facebook, and it's like literally their defense of him is that he seems like a real person, and he's not part of the corrupt political system.
That's not what I mean by logic.
Yeah,
there is
but
logic.
to them it's logical.
But I'm saying that like there's a logical thread you can follow on like a universal scale, but on an individual level, it's illogical. To support Trump is to support a lack of logic in your candidate, because there's no logic backing Trump. He switches fucking position constantly. He doesn't have any one idea. He's just an amalgam of the concept of make America great again, whatever that happens to mean that week, to whoever he happens to be talking to.
What the fuck? Zubat can't learn Flash? I just caught a Zubat to try to teach him Flash, so I didn't have to waste a fucking move on my look at his grab.
Have any shitty moves?
No, I don't want to occupy a space for that shit. Fuck, man.
Normal types usually learn Flash.
Oh, I'll go catch Rattata. Not gonna waste that shit, man.
So, like, when you think of it that way, when you think about the lack of logic already in Trump being popular, then why can't he win? Because that's how, that is how bad things happen in history. And, like, in your mind, because we've been in a world where things are always progressing forward. Like, we've never really seen a huge regression, although we have seen market collapses, but we were kind of too young to feel the impact of it, and our family was too well off. We didn't really have like, when the recession hit, our dad was doing pretty okay because people still needed cars, you know, and like, so it wasn't so big of a problem for us. I mean, I think he probably felt it more, but he has...
Dude, a Voltorb.
Our dad's,
shit.
Yeah, you can use Flash with him.
Dude, cool.
Our dad is very good at, like, managing his finances around whatever happens.
Oh, should I have balls?
I got balls.
Fuck, dude, I'm out of Pokeballs.
I got balls.
I want a Voltorb. Shit, Oh, Yuski-Do is dead.
That was a screech.
He's gonna die today.
So, like, I think... From our perspective, we're used to things moving forward and getting better and, like, making sense. But historically, things don't always continue making sense. And, like, if we're looking at it from the perspective, like, because we want to believe in, like, the singularity coming, right? Like, technology keeps improving step by step, and people keep getting better, and society keeps getting better, and we're heading towards this utopian state. But how easy would it be for all of that to just completely flip backwards, you know? Just because it hasn't happened that hard in the last 50 years. Like, and I think it was really like, you know, when we all made nuclear bombs, and it was kind of like, okay, well, now we can't fight anymore because everyone's got nukes and we'll all blow each other up. You know, so it's like, it's impossible, mutually assured destruction. So now all we have to do is make progress. Like, I love the concept of mutually assured destruction because that's what's making it so there's not wars all the time, like big
Yeah.
high-scale wars. Like, we still have wars, but there's no like superpowers
Invasions
doing
and shit.
crazy giant World War III shit, because if World War III happened, everyone would die. So it can't. But then I'm like, but what if it did? What if, in spite of mutually assured destruction,
It happened
Okay.
anyways.
So, disregarding the ice caps melt thing, the comets becoming crashed into us,
All I know is
the sun exploding, we're definitely gonna blow ourselves
try
up,
to imagine
you know?
fucking Donald Trump has to go and interact with the United Nations and like the world leaders and like act like a jackass. Like, do you really want that to happen? It's not cool.
Yeah.
Because they're all looking at us, you know, and they're
Do
not
we
gonna like
want
him.
a real person running our country?
Yeah.
Is that something you want?
I feel like Obama was a real person, you know?
Well, Obama...
He seems like a very genuine person. He's not just a puppet.
I don't know about that, but like...
He certainly serves an agenda, you know?
I think Obama is the perfect diplomat.
Yeah.
He is just a guy who is perfect. Like, okay, if I were to make this a Mass Effect comparison, Obama is full Paragon,
No.
and Donald Trump is full Renegade, right?
Yes.
Full Paragon means you always try to find the diplomatic solution, you always try to make things reasonable, and you try to, you know, progress forward.
Yes.
Renegade is you're a fucking asshole and you get things done by killing people. And to me, I've never understood the Renegade route in Mass Effect, because I've always been like,
Yeah.
why would anyone act this way? Why would things work
Exactly.
out if you were this kind of person? But then, now that I'm looking at this whole Trump thing, I'm like, I get it now. I get that the
Renegade
Renegades are real people. Like, I get who would play that. Who would be the Renegade. Like,
Yeah.
who would want that as their shepherd. Because that's what, you know, that's what a president is, a shepherd. They're the
Yeah.
person who's guiding the fucking flock of the country. And some people want their shepherd to be a fucking crazy guy who beats people up, you know?
Yes. Authoritarian.
Yeah.
That's the word used now. But, fuck. I was watching, like, you know, someone's iPhone footage of, like, outside the protest, and there was this dude, you know, he was one of the protesters at the Trump rally, and he just screamed, like, this old man kind of comes up and instigates, and he's like, oh, you guys get out of here, blah, 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 blah. And this dude just is screaming, like, fuck you! Fuck you! You're a racist! Fuck you for liking Donald Trump! Fuck you! And I'm like, you are escalating this to a point that is beyond even reason. Like,
Right.
by being this aggressive about it, because now you look like the enemy, and you're reversing it. Like, you're just gonna make everyone in that line's positions towards Trump 10 times stronger than they were. And now you're making your entire, what you represent, look like violent, you know,
Yeah.
idiocy, and just like,
Honestly, I get...
uh,
It's a little funny even with our mom, right? Because I know that she only does this because she's venting in her own house. But, like, because mom will post Bernie shit on Facebook, she'll post anti-Trump shit on Facebook, and she always gets these, like, complete asshole people.
the balls
who-
are inert.
My mom always gets these fucking total asshole, fucking crazy ass redneck, like, dudes, like, talking shit, like indirectly shitting on her by shitting, like, she'll post a Bernie thing and they'll be like, anyone who believes this is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And it's like, I believe this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm posting it. You're literally calling me fucking retarded.
Yes.
And every time I read one of these, I come very close to snapping and flipping shit on these people. Not because of their political beliefs, but because they're insulting my mom.
And that they
so-
would even, why would you insult a human being like
Right.
that?
And so, like, I always
This
come,
is
like...
Facebook where people have names, it's not anonymous.
I often, like, will type into the chat, fuck you, go kill yourself, I hate you, die, and then I'll delete it. But mom deals with it so diplomatically. It's beautiful. She'll just be like, well, Bernie has said this and this, and that, you know, like, where's your defense? You know, like, she
Yeah.
always handles it very well. But when she watches TV, like,
She'll
she
always
will,
yell
like,
at the
yell
candidates and everything.
viciously. She'll be like, someone will come on screen who, like, has a disagreeing opinion with her, and she'll be like, oh, fuck this bitch, I don't want to hear her fucking talk anymore. You know, she won't watch the
Yeah.
enemy rallies. Like, you know, dad will watch the Republican rallies to sort of understand their perspective. Mom will
Yeah.
be like, I don't want to listen to these ignorant idiots talk about this shit, you know? And I'm just like, You know, like,
Yeah.
like it's a little weird for me to be like hearing that. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't go out of my way to watch politics either. I get it, but like, if you're gonna
But Mom
be,
does go out of her way
if
to
you're
watch
gonna be
politics.
in the game, you really
Yeah.
gotta understand
You gotta know
all the
both sides.
rules of the game.
Yeah,
You know,
it's always funny because Hope's mom is the exact opposite of our mom, and she's pro-Trump right now, and Hope will tell me about how her mom yells at the TV at Obama, just like, and you know, obviously doesn't listen to anything he's fucking saying, just yells at him.
right.
But I'm like, Mom is the same way, you know, with the opposite
like,
side. So
I've
it's like they're
seen-
equally as bad,
I've
really.
seen our parents like react to things that are on TV, and it's so weird because Mom will have times where like, okay, right now, she keeps complaining about how they keep presenting that whole incident that happened at the Trump rally as violent. They keep talking about the violence, and she's like, they keep focusing on this small amount of violence where no injuries even happened, instead of like the entire 10,000 person peaceful protest that was happening.
Yes.
And they're making it look like this whole protest was violent when it was actually mostly a peaceful protest. And she keeps complaining about that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I can get behind that. I hate misrepresentation in the news.
Yes.
But then the news will run a obviously out of context Trump quote,
Yes.
and she'll be like, oh, that fucking bigot piece of shit,
Yes.
that racist monster. And I'm like, well, what makes you think the news isn't equally misrepresenting Trump? Which, like, that's my my editor, the Devu, like, his big problem. He does not like Trump. Don't get me wrong. He is a like leaning towards like Republican and conservative ideas, mostly for economic reasons.
Yes.
But like, he hates that people always like misrepresent what Trump is saying or doing because it's almost always out of context and sensationalized. And I'm like, yeah, I hate that too. I hate that the news sensationalizes it. But it's funny that my mom can have both perspectives at the same time. Like when it's in her court, oh, the news is misrepresenting it.
I hate the sensationalization of Donald Trump because it's another thing where because they overdo it, then the supporters ignore it and call it propaganda.
Right.
And then Donald Trump says, oh, it's just propaganda, don't listen to any of that shit. And then the actual valid points that are made aren't listened to because it's all taken as propaganda. Where it's like, when John Oliver did his takedown of Donald Trump, it's like he had a lot of evidence and facts and like really thoroughly went in, but then at the end he says some stupid goofy shit because that's what he does, and then everyone goes, this is just bullshit, this is just propaganda because this is just like everything else we've been seeing, when it's not, you know, it's not all about out of context quotes.
My biggest sort of gripe with John Oliver, like, I don't know, his show is such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because like he has to be goofy so that people will pay attention because nobody will.
Even though
But
like
then
without that it's so much
undercuts
better.
it. Yeah.
It's such a good show because it goes in on those topics that no one else has time to go in on.
But then like the jokes are always corny.
Yes.
And not that funny.
It's the same joke every time.
And I think he does sometimes get a little too aggressive in unhelpful ways.
Yeah.
Where he'll say things that he'll say things like they're completely obvious without explaining himself.
Yes.
Like, everyone should obviously feel this way, and you're like, well, hold on. Not saying I don't feel that way, but why should we all obviously feel that way? You know, that kind of happens a lot, especially when he like talks about like clips of people, like where he'll be like, this woman who was denied this thing, and then he'll like play a clip and he'll be like, obviously that's heartbreaking, and I'm like, well, I don't know the whole story. Like, you just played an out of context clip of this one side of the story. I don't know if that's as heartbreaking just yet. Sometimes it is obviously heartbreaking, but like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, let me get a little bit more of the story, you know. So,
I always love his finales, though, at the end of the episode, when he always does some big, stupid thing.
I mean, it's great when he does stuff like with the Miss America pageant, where he, like, gets out the whole stacks of papers, and it's like, we did all this
Donald
research.
Trump again hat was, it's
which our mom has the Make Donald
cool
Trump
in the way
Again
that
hat.
it sold millions of hats, and they did it, they're selling them at a price where they don't make a profit.
Yeah.
So it's like, they had the potential to make a ton of money off of that, and they didn't, because they didn't want to. They wanted to be honorable about it, I guess.
Our mom bought a Make Donald Trump Again hat and has worn it around at the grocery store.
Jade has pointed out the problem that it just looks like the Make America Great Again hat, so it looks like you're supporting Donald Trump, because you can't read it from a distance.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people a bunch of the protesters at that rally had that hat on. It was very funny.
I
You
will
can't tell
say-
who's wearing the actual
I
hat.
will
and
say
who's wearing
that,
the Trump hat.
There was one guy who I've had him, who I have had, who's like a former friend of mine. Well, I won't say former friend, but like I haven't talked to him in a long time. But
Yeah.
I've been Facebook friends with him. It's one of the guys who sort of like helped teach me how to write back when I was doing anime blogging and stuff. Pretty cool guy. But he's become like a really hardcore activist in the last like 5 years. Like, and it's like even like more extreme now because like he's got a girlfriend and they both do activist stuff together.
Great.
So it's like compounded activism stuff. But he's like very
Double the
social
activism.
justice warrior-y type like
Yeah.
opinions and stuff. And like after that whole Make Donald Trump Again speech, he like made this whole post on Facebook about how he thought it was a little fucked up that they were like shaming the name
Yeah.
Trump for
But
being like this
the thing is
dramatic
that's
name
where
and
it's-
everything. But I was
Where
like,
it's like, that was just a joke. Like, that's just a goofy joke at the end of the segment. Like, it wasn't that serious.
That made me unfollow him
Oh
on
my
Facebook
God.
finally, because like I've seen him make a lot of like those social justicey type posts, but I'm just like,
What sucked is,
dude,
if you look at the comments on that video on YouTube, it's all that. Like, it's
Right.
people, it's Trump people pissed off and people talking about, oh, the name thing was too much. It was just shaming the name. It's like, yeah, it was just
But
a funny thing.
the thing
you know?
is,
and
I
it's
think
true.
I think if you lack self-awareness about how funny that name is,
Yeah.
then you're fucking stupid. Like, I think that's my biggest problem with like people who try to be defensive about stuff like that, about like those kind of cultural things. It's like if I had a huge fucking tumor on my
Yeah.
face and people made fun of it and I thought it was hilarious, and then other people were like, don't make fun of his tumor, it's not funny, he can't help it. And I'm like, no, it's funny. It's
Yeah.
a tumor on my face. It's hilarious. Like, I think if you have any self-awareness, you can understand that, like, in our culture, Drumpf is a funny name. The way he described it as, like,
Yeah.
the sound like a pigeon makes when it hits
Yes.
your windshield or whatever, like,
Which is accurate.
yeah, like, it is a funny name. If you had the name Drumpf, you would get made fun of for it. And if you had this, like, maybe that would suck for you, or maybe you would love that. Some people love being made fun of. Some people love that they have a joke that they're a part of with their self, you know? I love that people, like, you know, well, what's a good example? I was gonna say my beard, but I get annoyed when too many people talk about my fucking beard because it gets really annoying. But, like, I love the idea when people are like, oh, you're like this weird otaku who's like this weird, crazy, insane person hobo who lives in your house. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's I embrace that. I want that, you know? And, like, Trump is a funny name.
Look,
you
the
know?
point of it was not, you know, it was the joke that it's a funny name, but the point he's making is that if you took away the name, he becomes nothing, because
Right.
all he's done is build up his name. So it's like, yes, if you change his name to Drumpf, you wouldn't take it seriously anymore.
And it's like,
because all
yeah,
he is
and
his
that
name.
is true. Like, it's not making fun of the name, it's just pointing out the truth of how human psychology works and how we read names, you know? Alright, next time on Digi Bros.
No more Donald Trump.
No.
It's too much.